Hi guys, welcome to Strength and Conditioning, and the first phase we're going to take you through is the foundation phase, and this phase is all about small muscle groups, supportive muscle groups, and making those little muscle groups or supportive muscle groups nice and strong over the next sort of 8 to 12 weeks that'll allow you to go on to the winter phase of strength and conditioning, which is much more about building strength, where this is much more about building that supportive system. Okay, exercise number 1. This is to work the inside and outside muscle groups on the leg and the hip called adductors and abductors. So Rochelle is going to balance on one leg, and here it's her left leg. She's going to basically take the foot out to the side, and she's going to hold it for about a count of 2, 3, and then bring it back across the midline, and again hold for a count of 2, 3. Nice and slow, keeping the body nice and tall, supportive leg just slightly soft. What you'll see happening here, guys, which is really important, is see how hard that foot is working to stabilize. Now, working those little muscle groups in and around the foot is going to make you really strong and make your proprioception or your balance really solid for when you're running. Exercise number 2. This is just about balance. It's just about clearing your mind. It's about stability, and it's a nice relaxed exercise. So Rochelle brings her knee up to about hip height. She then takes her hands onto her or out to the sides just for balance. And again, look how hard that leg is working. So this is an easiest exercise to do, because here she's still keeping her eyes open, and we're going to show you a little progression to this in a second. But again, look how hard that foot is working. And it's okay to put your foot down. She's going to learn to balance, and she'll get better at it as time goes on. So stabilizing through that supportive leg, see all those muscle groups working in and around the hip, in and around the ankle. Great exercise. So a little progression from this. And this is all about becoming a Jedi now. So as you can see, Rochelle just simply closes her eyes, and because you're going into that your own headspace, it becomes much more difficult to hold the balance and stabilize. But you're going to get frustrated with it initially, but you will be able to do this hold it for long periods. So again, just bring the knee up, make sure you're stable, make sure you're balanced, then close your eyes. You're looking to really clear the mind at this point and not think of anything. Great stuff, guys. So moving on slightly, we're going on to what we call a basic sit-up. So this is the start of our trunk routine, if you like. So here you can see Archie pushes his lower back into the floor, rolls up slowly, and then lengthens the spine when he gets to the top of the exercise. On the way back down, again, pushes the lower back into the floor and slowly goes back down to the floor. We don't want any momentum on this exercise, guys. So when you bring your arms away like that, or use the arms to throw your body forward, that's going to not work the muscle group as much as we're looking for. Nice and slow. Remember, the more the muscle's under tension, the more it's going to be working. So slowly up and slowly back down under full control. Next exercise, this one's called bird dog, and again, part of the trunk routine, if you like. And here we're going to work the glute and the muscle groups on the back of the body. So we're used to, swim, bike, and run, and everything's using the muscle groups at the front. But this one is just working a little bit of stability through the whole body. So basically, you come up, lengthen through the hand, lengthen through the heel, nice and slowly back down. Feel the change in muscle groups in your trunk from left to right or right to left. And again, up, hold, lengthen through your hand, lengthen through your heel, and then slowly back down again. Keep the abs contracted the whole time you're working this exercise. Okay, moving on now. Rochelle is going to demonstrate front plank for us. Again, part of the trunk series of strengthening exercises. So all you're going to do is take a deep breath in. You're going to contract the abs or pull the belly button in, keep the abs nice and strong, and then slowly lift to a front plank position. You can keep your feet slightly open at the back and nice relaxed breathing. Hold this for as long as you feel comfortable to start off with, and it's about building those endurance muscle groups over time. So 20-30 seconds is enough, and then slowly back down to the floor when you feel you're fatiguing. Next one, Archie's going to demonstrate what we call a basic Romanian deadlift. So you can use this with dumbbells, as Archie has now. And what we're going to do is work the hamstring on this exercise. So you basically take one foot off the floor and you're putting all that load through the supporting leg, stabilizing on that supporting leg, but keeping the supporting leg very slightly soft, so a slight bend in the knee. You want to keep a straight line going through the shoulder, through the hip, and down through the ankle. As soon as you feel that hamstring start to work, pause for a couple of seconds, and in using the hamstring, slowly come back to the standing position. Let's have a look at this from the side so you can get a better idea of what's going on. So supporting leg just very slightly soft, and then going to take all that weight down through the hamstring on that left leg that's on the floor at the moment. As soon as he feels his hamstring working, he pauses, stabilizes through the hip, through the supporting leg, and then slowly back to the standing position. Okay, moving on to the upper body now. So this exercise is an endurance exercise for the muscles in and around the shoulders. So basically this one, you take your arms out to the side. You can see Archie has some ankle weights, well, hand weights if you like, on his wrists. That's a little bit of a progression. So once you don't have to do this. So just start off with no weights on your arms, and then what you're looking to do is just make very small little golf ball size circles. And then after a few 30 seconds or whatever, as soon as you start to fatigue, then go to about football size, just for 20-30 seconds. See, you know, there's a lot of tension, but you can see he's a strong kid. And then go to a beach ball size or slightly bigger. So about 3 different sizes of circles, and you can do that. Start with 20 seconds, 20 seconds, 20 seconds, and then go 20 seconds backwards. Small golf ball size, and then go to football size, and then go to beach ball size. And again, you progress when you feel that you're strong enough to progress. Great work. Okay, still part of the shoulder strengthening sort of routine, if you like, and this one is internal rotation. And the great thing about this is obviously working the rotator cuff, but a little trick I've picked up is, especially with the young guys, they love their mobile phones. And you can see what I've done here is I stick the mobile phone under their elbow, which will stop their elbow from coming out and keep the exercise nice and smooth. So basically all we're looking to do here, keep the body nice and upright, nice and relaxed, and you just, with a little bit of tension, you're looking to pull the hand in through the center line and then back out. And it's an endurance muscle group as well, so we want to keep the repetitions quite high, or the time on the exercise quite high. And it's nice and smooth, trying not to move the upper body at the same time. And then we'll move on to the external rotation, and again you can see the mobile phone tucked in there, and it's basically just the opposite. So for both exercises, working teres major, teres minor, and just those little muscle groups around the shoulder. So again, nice and tall, body nice and upright, and then slowly moving the hand from the in line to the outside, keeping that phone tucked into his shoulder. Nice and smooth, a little bit of movement through his upper body there, but we need to try and be a little smoother than that. That's great work. Clam is one of our key exercises in the winter phase, or in the foundation phase, for strengthening and switching on the medial glute, which is going to help you stabilize through the knee, through the hip, on running and on cycling. So it's a really key exercise. So Jill, if you just carry out a few Clam exercises for us. It's not a massive exercise. You can see in this instance, Jill's using a band, and you're basically just looking to bring that knee about hip height. And that's as far as we need to lift. If you don't have a band, you can use a small weight as well, or either or, and you just place the weight on the knee like that as well. Okay, couple of key points, guys. As Jill goes to lift her knee here, she's going to make sure she's pushing that hip forward a little bit. So that will really help to switch on the medial glute. Okay, I just want to show you guys from a slightly different angle. So Jill, as you lift your knee to do the Clam, just execute the exercise for me. So as you lift, you'll see that the knees, as she goes back down, are flush. So what I mean by flush is that they're in line here. So just pull your knee back a little bit. What you might get with some people is if they're not in line, the knees are not flush and working directly on top of one another. So that's another one of those key reasons to keep that knee pushed forward or the hip. Okay, moving on to back bridge now. So this exercise is designed to fire up or get our glutes working, or our major glutes working, but also we're going to get a stretch through our hip flexors at the same time. So Johnny was going to demonstrate this exercise for us. So you can see that his heels are on the ground, but his toes are slightly lifted, and we do this to try and keep a little bit of pressure out of the hamstrings. So we don't want to be using the hamstrings when we do this exercise. So Johnny just pushes down through his heels and raises his hips up. But you can see you've got to really try and drive through the top of the hips on this one. And then slowly back down, under control. One of the key things with this is, as I say, not firing up the hamstrings. So when you're up there, just give your hamstrings a little bit of a tap and just make sure they're not switched on. And your brain's got to talk to your hamstrings. So you learn how to switch those off. And then gently back down, and that's back bridge. Next one, single leg back bridge. So basically the same concept, looking to fire up the glutes and get a stretch or an extension through the hip flexors. So Rochelle is going to drive up with both hips or both legs, or drive the hips up. Stabilize, take one foot off the floor and bring that knee over the hip. So you've got a right angle at the hip, and then you've got a right angle at the knee as well. And then just gently slow down, or lower down, sorry, not slow down, and then drive back up through that. She's obviously driving through her left glute at this time. And you can just, if you want to, just to make sure your hips stay stable, you can place your hands on either side of your hips on this one, and then relax back down. Side plank, final exercise. So this one, Archie's going to demonstrate. You can either have your feet on top of one another or splayed as Archie is here. But one of the key things is making sure, see how his elbow is directly underneath his shoulder. So make sure that elbow is not away from that shoulder, because that's going to hurt your shoulder after a little while. And then basically all you do is take a nice deep breath in, brace the abs, and then slowly lift the hips off the floor. And then what we're looking for is a nice straight line all the way down through shoulder, hip, and into the ankle. And you can do this, your reps and sets will be on the programs, etc. guys. So sometimes it's going to be for time, and sometimes you might be carrying out a number of reps on this one. Once you get really strong on this, like you're holding it for 6 minutes or whatever it is you're trying to do, you can also place a weight on your hip when you're doing this exercise if you want to.